Happy Tinny Talk. Actually, no Tinny, because it's too late for Tinnies for me. However, I have a special guest on here tonight. He is a very, very talented strongman, amazing coach, who's now my coach. My coach.
We'll go with that. And former talented strongman, now an amazing.
You are. I've seen you compete. And you're full of strongman talent. And you are an amazing coach because, again, we have seen that. We've got the proof. Great strongman, great coach. And that's all I really know about you. And that is why you're on the Tinny Talk, because that's what it's about. Anyway, I haven't even introduced you yet. It's Flash. Here he is.
Flash. It's there. It's at the bottom of the screen for me, anyway.
It's at the bottom of the screen. I mean, I called you Dan for a while, and then Joe told me off. He's like, nobody calls him that. No, I don't know who you're talking about. I was like, okay.
Nobody calls me that in strongman. Dan's a very...
So how did Flash come about?
That was from rugby, and everyone thinks it's because I was fast. I was fast, don't get me wrong. I run fast. However, I had long hair. I used to have long hair. Like, literally, when I was 19 playing rugby in academies, I had long hair down to my shoulders. And we went away at the end of the season. I came back for pre-season. I had my hair cut to about this length now. And I had a brand new pair of red boots that were given to me by a sponsor as well. And the coach said, who is this little Flash, C-U-N-T, turning up to training? And then my surname's Ashcroft, and they started calling me Flashcroft off the back of that. And then they decided that Flash was a good name. And I was like, I think that nickname can stick because you can get christened with a lot worse. So I thought, yeah, I'm having that nickname. And that's just,
I like it.
Carried through. That's carried through, yeah.
Yeah, like literally any time I've spoke about you and I've stopped now and I've said Dan, they're like,
no.
What?
No one knows.
I thought you were a Flash. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
And they're like, no, we don't know that name. Joe freaks out.
Yeah, I even use it on official emails and stuff like that now.
Of course, yes. Can't have Flashcroft on an official email.
Can't quite do that. I'm glad that one didn't stick, but I'm glad Flash did.
So, talented strongman. Yes, you are. Tell us, let's start there, because obviously that's what we both do, that's what we both love. Let's start with strongman.
Sure.
How did you get into it?
So I was at Loughborough University. I was playing rugby and unfortunately had to finish playing rugby due to head injuries. Took too many knocks to the head, too many concussions. As part of funding uni, as well as the rugby, playing in the academies and stuff, I worked nighttime security, so on the doors, and I actually worked with Adam Bishop. So
cool.
I knew Bish through that. He was also at university, just finished playing rugby, but he got himself into strongman. And he bought himself a little bit of kit and put it in the university gym. So I walked in one day, knew him just through work, and he was actually logging. And I said, "Oh, what are you doing there?" He was like, "I'm just log pressing. Do you want to have a go?" Jumped in with him for a session, did log, loved it, and then he said, "Every Saturday I go to a yard in Melton Mowbray, which is near Loughborough. It's about a 40-minute drive, and train with a crew up there." And this was 2010, so strongman was still relatively new. Not many people had kit either, but the guy that we actually had the yard basically was one of the first manufacturers of strongman kit in the country. So Jason Tolbert. So we had access to absolutely everything. And he said, "Do you want to come with me on Saturday?" And I think I weighed about 66 kilos or something wet through. And we just went up and trained. I think the first ever thing I did was Conan's Walk. And then, just did yoke farmers and stuff at the yard. And it was great. And I got hooked and I just basically latched onto him from then on, and we just trained for a whole summer basically together. And then he said he was on a forum called Sugden Barbell, which is where before Facebook, before Instagram, and all the comps used to get posted on there. And he said, "I've seen an under 90 kilo comp." So under 90 kilos was relatively new at this point. I think they'd only run it for about a year at that stage. And he's like, "There's a big under 90 kilo comp happening, sort of all levels, available to compete." There was 35 people, but there was nothing like a novice comp at this stage, nothing like that. It was just you go and you do what you can. And he said,
Yeah.
do you want to have a go? And I said, yeah. And then ever since then, I've just been hooked, and it sort of spiraled from there. Started like under 90s, put loads of weight on to get to under 90s, and then
yeah.
I think in about 2011, 2012, they started rumblings of an under 80 kilo category, and then they ran an 80 kilo like at the Arnold Classic, I think in 2013, and then it all went a bit quiet in this country, the under 80s, and then it really kicked, like, sort of. I just started asking people for comps, really, to be honest with you. No, like that is how it kind of kicked off again, because they ran 2 shows, one in 2011, one in 2012.
Yeah.
I think Shane won the one in 2012. So Shane MST.
Yeah.
I think I was second or third. Third I was, actually. He went and did the Arnold in 2013, and then it all went a bit quiet because he decided he didn't want to be an 80 kilo guy anymore. But I was like, I actually quite like this, so I started just asking people for comps. And then sort of always did under 90s, did under 90s all the way through. But I was like, I want to really pursue this under 80s, and sort of got it moving in 2014, a bit more in 2015, and then it has just spiraled from there. Had a little bit of a lull again, but then since Luke and Rhea have got their hands on it at Chaos Strength, they've really taken it from strength to strength now in the UK. It was always a big category in America, weirdly. Like the States never did under 90s. Never.
Okay.
That's a new weight category for them, whereas over here it was just 90s, 105s, opens.
Okay.
And they had 80s, 105s and opens. And then they've adopted the 90s, and
they've adopted it.
Yeah, we adopted the 80s.
So that's pretty cool that you can say your first ever strongman training partner was Adam Bishop. I mean, obviously you've known him forever, but looking in from a strongman fan perspective, it's like, that's pretty awesome.
It's not bad, is it? Like
that's a good story.
So yeah, we as well, we train like, so the guy who made all the equipment was called JT, Jason Talbot. So you may have heard of a JT log. Quite gold dust in this country. So that was JT, and JT was Britain's strongest man under 105 at that point as well. So I had a great start, and he was a really good power lifter in the IPF as well. So I had a good start with training partners, should we say.
That is an awesome story. That's one of my best. I think that's one of my favourite how you got into strongman stories. That's that's a cool one.
So that was at Loughborough University as well at the time, when there was just the gym that we were at was just full of like incredible athletes. So there was Ross Edgley was at that gym at the time. Jordan Peters, trained by JP, was at the gym at that time as well. A guy called Rich Ellis, who held the British bench press record for years and years, was at that gym. So there was just this gym of like super athletes at the time that you could just look around and be like inspired by, and just be like, whoa, like these are crazy guys. Like Tommy Ewell as well, who was he went to the Sydney Olympics as an Olympic weightlifter.
Wow.
So you just had this like whole gym of people that you just looked at and were like, holy shit.
So
actually. Like,
100%. So see, like being surrounded by people that were obviously better than you constantly, you know, even as you were getting better, they were improving. So they were just always better and, like you said, more inspiring. Do you think that really pushed you to be better at strongman as well, just being surrounded by amazing people?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say that 100%. Because I, as a competitor, I'm competitive in everything that I do, and it doesn't matter what it is or who it is. I just want to win. Like, basically,
just want to win.
Yeah, well, I just want to at least compete, and I want them to look at me and go, "Oh yeah, he's pretty good." Like, so that every time they did something like impressive, I was like, "Shit, I've got to do something impressive now as well."
Yeah, I always tell people that it's so important to surround yourself with people that's better. You know, you want to surround yourself with people that you can look up to, and want to be like them. And you, like you said, even if you're not competitive, you see people doing better, and it's addictive. You want to be better too, and you're like, oh, well, I wonder if I can do that. It's so important to surround yourself with the right people.
For me, it's not always better. It's just people who are always improving themselves and pushing themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even if you are the best at that gym, if you've got people chipping away at your heels, that'll just keep you ticking on anyway as well.
Yeah.
So I always say surround yourself with people who just want to be better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
Everyone, if they just want to be better, they're going to force you to be better.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
100%.
My thoughts.
Oh yeah, I found that in the group chat, the MST group chat. I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed because, and it's just from the videos because I'm like, oh my god, they've trained, so I better go and train. Or look how much they're doing, I better go and do it. Or they're just anything. I'm like, oh my, that's so amazing. I'm gonna go and do it now. I'm gonna go and try and be better. So yeah, no, 100%. It's so important.
Yeah, I think that's so for people that don't know. I'm an MST coach with MST Systems, so we have a group chat for every single athlete that's a one-to-one client, and yeah, it's an incredible like community that I think we've created already, like that of people who just like lifting and like sharing their lifting, and also there's a lot of great technical lifters and great coaches in there as well. So if you've got it doesn't have to be an MST Systems coach always that answers you. You get different perspectives as well, which is I think it's really powerful. And like you say, it's people that just want to be better all the time. Just want to share the lifts and want to drive other people on. And it makes you when you're right, when someone posts a PB or posts a good lift, you're like, oh, I've got to go and do that now.
I'm gonna have to up my game.
Yeah, they got like 20 likes off people there. I want that as well. Like we all do it. It's we all do it.
100%.
You'd be wrong if you said you didn't. It's that dopamine hit and the
oh yeah, definitely.
Like people going, oh yeah, you're mint. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I got a like. Woo! I got a like from somebody in the US. Woohoo!
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Someone from Australia is like my lifting. Go on. But yeah.
No, I absolutely love it. So, when you've competed for a while now, what's been your biggest achievement in strongman, and when was it?
2019, I won Europe's Strongest Man under 80
nice
kilo. Obviously a big show to win, but it was also the manner of thinking. Someone's actually said it to me this weekend at Britain's Strongest Man under 80 where I was coaching. He said the manner, it wasn't just like, maybe the field wasn't that great of athletes, but the manner in which you won. So I won by 15 points over 5 events. So
wow.
I think I won 4 out of 5 events and came second on the other or something. But someone said to me, just the manner in which you won that show and like how much, without sounding like big-headed, how much better you were than everyone else on the day. Just, like, shone through. So yeah, that one definitely probably hits as my biggest achievement. I'm just thinking, I broke world records before, but no, that comps mean a lot more to me than a record. A record gets wiped out. The comp stays forever. You never.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I spoke to somebody about that. I think somebody had said something about a world record. I'm like, but you can have a world record for 2 minutes. Exactly. I says, but if you win a comp, that's yours. Nobody can take that away from you ever. Like, you won that competition. I was like, so, like, if you really want to go for a world record, that's great, but it will be beaten.
Yeah, that's
some point.
That's always been my thoughts as well. I think I always preferred winning comps over breaking records.
So you said that you were rugby to start with. Did you do that from a young age, or when did you get into rugby?
I did. Well, I was football first. So football and golf, actually. Golf's always been there.
Okay.
Golfing family. Like dad's side of the family are big golfers. And happy that I was actually taught how to play.
Yeah. Because
it's definitely a game that you can it's nice to just go and pick up. So I can always, if someone's like, oh, do you want to go and play golf? I can always say yes. Because I can always pick up a club and hit a ball now. So that was from like the age of 3. Football, I always just wanted to be a footballer. I'm a huge Manchester United fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, started going to Old Trafford when I was 5 years old.
Oh, my mum dragged me to Old Trafford when I was 5 years old.
had a season ticket up until the age of 18, until I went to uni. So from 5 to 18, I was there like every other week at a game. I was a football nerd. I studied it. I knew everything. I knew every player, I just wanted to be a footballer. And then I think when we were 11, I played for a local side, and I think we had a scout down to come and watch us. Can't remember where they were from, but my parents were told, or my mum was told, that they'll never be a footballer. He's too small. I was like, oh, like, 11-year-old kid. I was like devastated. So I was like, what can I do that's going to prove this scout wrong? So I went and played rugby. Like a game where you think, you need to be big to play rugby. I was like, no, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong. And then so from about 11 onwards, I played rugby, and then all the way through to like senior stuff, and then through university.
Amazing.
Took too many knocks to the head.
So you've always been competitive then? Is that just kind of, is your family competitive?
My dad's side, not necessarily. My mum's side and my granddad. I got it from my granddad. So he was ridiculous. Like, like grandparents seen as these, like, they'll always let you win. They love the grand. No, not my granddad. It was you were like from the age of like, I don't know, 3, playing like tiddlywinks with him or whatever. He'd like hammer you into the ground. He'd be like he'd bring his A game to absolutely everything. But I tell you what, the day that I first beat him was the biggest achievement of my life, and like was celebrated. So you respected that, and I think that's where it came from. Because my mum's the same. My mum is exactly the same. My mum is hyper competitive with everything that we do. So, do you think that's a positive thing growing up, because I'm very competitive. Mm-hmm.
I try and say I'm not, but I am. But I try and keep it reserved to my kids. Like, they are competitive, but I try not to put my competitiveness onto them. I think that's kind of a dangerous, you can do it in the wrong way sometimes. So do you think that, obviously it's benefited you? Did you ever feel pressured from
No. None of that.
No. Because I see a lot of kids that in the gym and stuff, their parents are competitive, but they're competitive.
No.
And they're pushing it onto them. Do you know what I mean? No. Where there's other ways around it. So just wondered.
Everything I ever did was always my choice. It was never...
Yeah, I think that's good.
Like, when I wanted to play football, it was like mum, it was always mum, I want to go to football. So she found me a football school to go to, and then, mum, I want to, like, someone's asked me to come and play for this football team. Can I go and play for this football team? Yeah, you can go and play for that football team. But it was never, I found you this to do. You're going to go and do this weekend. It was always my choice. And I always supported very well. My mum was at everything, every crazy thing. Cause I think I tried every single sport. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Put through cricket, tennis, like football, golf, rugby. Try to list them all off. Never did athletics. Never did anything like athletics. But she let me try everything. So,
yeah, I think that's the way you've got to be as well, because like I said, I've seen in the past with kids, their parents are very competitive, but they are not willing to compete in something themselves, so they push it on.
Yeah.
And I just think it's horrific, because then the child isn't usually as competitive as the parent, and then it just becomes stressful. But I think if it's like you said, you get a choice and they're supportive, but then you get that like good competitive side from them, and it's like supportive in a way that can be really powerful and make you want to be improving all the time, make you want to be better. So yeah, I just wondered, because there is people I've spoken to in the past where they're like, I wasn't really that competitive, but I was kind of forced to be. So
I've seen it before. Like, I've got nephews and nieces now. I've not actually got kids myself, but I've got nephews and nieces, and I've been to watch them. They've always asked to do their sport as well. And when they've not wanted to do it, they've said, look, mum, dad, I don't want to do it. And it was like, fine. But you see parents down at that are like, your kid's not enjoying his life then. It's not.
I know. It's not good to see, is it? It's not. No. It's like,
no.
It's a shame. But no, I'm glad that didn't happen, because it can be it can be very stressful, like being pressured into something you don't want to do,
I had to sometimes be told to just hold back a bit.
Stop being so competitive.
Yeah, stop being so competitive, and like because I used to hate losing as well, and like I no bones about it. I'm fine. Well, I'm not actually fine now. I'm still a bad loser, but when I was a kid, I was a terrible loser. Like, you know, like proper sulking, like shouting at people, like, you know, absolutely terrible loser. I've learned to. Well,
you're still the same, but you keep it inside.
Yeah, you'll probably ask Mel, and she'll say absolutely not. You're still an absolutely terrible loser, but I think I've improved. Well, I definitely have improved.
You're maybe just quieter about it. It's like I hate it, but I just keep it to myself, and I'm like, yes, so happy for you.
Shaking hands, smiling, but like behind you're dead inside. That's.
Oh yeah, you just want to punch them right in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But
that's what I'm like.
I don't think it's a bad habit to have, to be a bad loser, because if you're a good loser, it means you've lost too many times, probably.
Hey, yeah. maybe. I think it is. Like, as long as you're not being nasty to anyone else, because at the end of the day, you lost because they were better. Simple.
100%.
As long as it's, but yeah, you could. I don't like losing, and I don't like when somebody's better than me at something. But it just makes me want to be better again, because that competitiveness comes out where I'm like, they were better. Even like when I'm doing like public speaking, if I'm in a group and somebody's better, I'm like, I need to up my game. What did they do? Why were they better? I was taking notes all the time, like just competitive and everything.
That's it, and that helps with everything though, and that helps with coaching, like as well. Like asking, like I was asking this weekend of the athletes that won, like, what did you do? How did you train? Like, and seeing if I can weighing it up in my head, thinking, yeah, that might actually work if I implement this into this person's program. So always improving. Like, so yeah, good loser in that sense. Just not like personally. I was like,
yeah, it's just annoying when you
yeah, just annoying.
We just want to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just win. Just want to win.
Right. So coaching.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been a coach for?
I started coaching in 2018. So what are we now? 6 years. But I coached rugby as well.
Okay.
So I actually coached a team for 2 years.
Okay, that's amazing.
At the university team. So I graduated and finished, but I then took over as a coach for like the second team of university, which was great. Obviously not in gym or strength coaching, but it gave me a really good base of coaching people, I think. And understanding people, because it was tough. Like for me, having just finished playing rugby, I just wanted to be playing, not actually coaching. So it was tough in that sense, and that's probably why I didn't ever pursue it like fully, because I just wanted to be out there playing, and I was still 24 years old and thinking, I just want to play. In my head, a rugby coach, it was always you go and coach when you finish playing. So I was so I thought, to me, a coach should be like early to mid 30s, like not someone who's like they're coaching at 20, 24 years old. So I struggled with it in that aspect, but it gave me a really good foundation of like dealing with people and planning sessions, like all of that sort of stuff. And then I sort of took a career change at one point, went into like another career in the clothing industry, in fashion, which most people don't know, and always are a bit surprised at. But I went into that, and then I enjoyed it, but then it was dragging me closer and closer to London. I don't want to live there. Just didn't.
Don't want to live there.
Didn't want to live there. It just didn't appeal to me. Some people, the city life and the big city and the everything like that, it really appeals to them, and just didn't appeal to me.
Not for you.
No. So I then came back and started coaching at the gym in Loughborough, owned by Dean Maiden. It was called Strong Lean Fit. I think it's Serious Strength Gym now. So I coached out of there until the pandemic, actually, and then
So was it strongman when you started?
It was a bit of both. I used to run strongman classes, but it was also general population. Sort of fat loss training and stuff like that. Which again, I think gave me a great foundation and a great base of working with people.
I think you need to work with people like that to begin with. 100%.
Yeah, I think because you then get an understanding of I think the mindset of different people and the way that they approach different things, and then you just, yeah. I thought at one stage I was just going to start coaching and everyone had come to be coached by me because of my name. And I couldn't have been more wrong. It was like, you know, when you think, I'm going to get so many clients straight away, it's going to be...
yeah, it doesn't work.
Fuck no, it was a really hard 3 years. But then, you know, you just got to build a reputation. You build a reputation like in the gym, and then I found people in the gym that wanted to do strongman. Not necessarily... They weren't into high-level competitions or anything, but they wanted to train strongman. So then you can get them training, you can show people your results, you can go on from that. And then, obviously, the pandemic came and gyms shut, and everyone, it was a bit like, holy crap, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And that's when I started speaking with Shane, MST.
Amazing.
So 2020. And it started off, he was like, do you want to just help me out with a bit of programming? And because he was taking on more clients because of the pandemic, they were coming and they needed training, so I was like, I'll help you out with some programming for sure. So we did that, and then he was like, okay, like what you're doing. So I've been trained, I've been friends with Shane since that first competition I mentioned in 2010. We actually went to the same school. I didn't know, he did. He was 3 years younger than me, so I didn't know that he was at my school, but he knew exactly who I was, apparently. So whether that's good or bad, I'm not too sure. And then he coached me since 2017. So
right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was well in tune with the system of MST Systems. I knew exactly how it ran. I knew, what he liked. I liked the way that he trained me anyway, so it was a good fit. So I was able to just start programming there, and since then we've just, in the last 4 years, we've absolutely exploded.
You guys are absolutely smashing it. It's every time there's a competition, you guys are there with someone.
We try. We made a point this year actually of, we didn't used to travel to competitions. Even up to Shane with the Giants Live Boys and me with, the sort of top of the lightweight strongmen. We didn't used to travel to comps because we kind of saw ourselves as not an annoyance, but an extra, an added commodity that the athlete's not used to having there. But then we've sort of been able to start going to comps, start understanding what the athlete needs of the coach on comp day. If that makes sense. So because the way I used to view it was, I wouldn't necessarily want my coach there on the day telling me you've got yoke coming up, you need to hold the yoke here and put your feet there, because it just absolutely pulled in my head. But what I found the value in is going and helping the athlete with a strategy on the day, in terms of nothing to do with technical stuff, nothing to do with, I don't know, even warm-ups, because I always just say warm-up to everything you do in the gym, take it to the comp and do that. Yeah. It's strategies, what should I hit as my last warm-up flash? And I can stand there with them, have a look at the weights as they're going up, and then go, right, do this as your last warm-up. Then it's they're about to go out on the comp floor. It's your head's absolutely mangled. You're trying to get hyped. You're this, you're that. You've not watched the people go out before you and seen what reps is winning, and I can just grab them and just go, look, you need 6 reps here, rather than them going out and absolutely blasting themselves and doing 10 for no reason. Just be just do 6, and then really just getting them through and telling them what they need to do, not necessarily just telling them the performance they need on the event, not how to do it. I fully trust that they know how to do it. That they know.
Well, they should be by now.
Yeah, exactly.
By that point.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't change anything anyway, so.
No, exactly. So, but I think we've added that little bit of value, certainly towards start of last year and all the way through last year and this year is adding that layer of value to it, to be really to be there with the athletes on the day. And that's
I think it's amazing. I always see you and Shane pacing about, getting stressed out. What does it I know as a coach that I like competing. I find it stressful, but I am like near on the verge of heart attacks when I am with my clients. Like,
100%
what does it mean to you when your clients are competing?
I think it means more than when they're, because I know what the client puts in. I know exactly what they've like sacrificed, how much it means to them, and how badly they want to achieve what they want to achieve. And all I'm doing there is, because then when they go out to lift, it's out of my control. When I go to compete, I'm totally in control of the situation. I've done it that many times. I don't get nervous anymore when I compete. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm focused on exactly what I'm doing. I know how to move, blah, 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 blah. Once their name gets called and I give them like the last slap on the back or whatever, out of my control, and I can't control it, and it absolutely, heart's just going like that. Yeah, I just can't cope. I trust them absolutely fully, but it's so much more nerve-wracking because, like I said, we've had conversations week on week with the athlete about what it means to them, what they want, like how badly they want it, what they've sacrificed, and I know I just want that for them. I just want that. I don't want to feel like I've let them down, which I know no one ever thinks that, but I just don't want them to feel like that. But,
Yeah, 100%. No, I get like that as well. You just want it so badly for them, and then you're like this, like you watch a scary movie, you're like, oh my God, I can't watch, but I need to watch.
Yeah,
start freaking out. Do you know what makes me nervous as well? When I give in comp or out of comp, when it's a new number.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that whole day, like, it's so stressful because I'm like, I don't want them to get injured. I don't want to hurt themselves. I want them to get it. And then they're like, oh my God, what if they get injured? What if they? Oh my God, I just start freaking out.
I had that with your most recent deadlift.
Oh, did you?
20 kilo deadlift PB or whatever it was, and I was like, my God, I hope she gets it. And I know you train early, so like by the time I've woken up, I've normally been able to watch all your videos from the session. So I was like, I know I'm gonna wake up, and I woke up that morning and went, I need to check my phone. I need to check my phone to see if she's pulled this deadlift, and you had, and I was like, oh my God, thank God for that.
I know, I was so chuffed. It wasn't even as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. And I was so chuffed because I got all the burst blood vessels into my eyes. I was like, I'm a real strong man. Yeah. I'm a real strong man now. I got burst blood vessels in my eyes. I love it. No, that was good. And I can say to anyone that you are a very, very good coach. Like, I've definitely came on massively since joining the team. So I can 100% say that. Very supportive.
I can thank Shane for all he's taught me.
Well, yeah, but you've put in the work as well, and Shane's amazing as well,
Of course. We've got a big team now behind us as well.
Who makes you most nervous to coach?
Who makes me most nervous to coach? Wow. This is probably recency bias because he's just competed this weekend, but Finlay Mercer.
I knew you were going to say Finlay, that's why I asked you.
Frightens the life out of me.
He fucking scares me. I knew you were going to say Finlay. I was like, right, I'm not going to say about Finlay, but I bet you he says Finlay.
Never know what you're going to... No, you do. He's getting better. He's getting a lot better. We handled... and he's one that I'm so glad that I'm at comps with when he's...
He's amazing. His energy is fucking electric.
But, like, we're getting so much better about handling that, and his on day performance gets better and better each time. It's sort of like just not losing his head, basically, not like flipping out. So he's getting loads better, but yeah, he's bloody nerve-wracking to watch.
He is stressful. See, at Europe's last year, I was on the commentary and I seen him, and I was like, I can't let him go out there like that. I just can't. I've seen him compete before. And I was like, it was the shield carry. I was like, he's going to drop that on his face if he goes out like that. So I like ran over and I grabbed him and I was like, Finlay. And he just looked at me. I was like, calm until you pick the fucking thing up. And he's just like, I was like, calm. And he's like, okay. And he did. He actually did. He picked it up. And then I was like, now go. Oh, but yeah, I think he kicked something once at a comp. I was like,
sandbag. Yeah, he kicked the sandbag.
It's not going to move, Finlay.
No, he didn't move. He kicked it. Oh, yeah,
it's 100 kilos.
Yeah.
I love Finlay.
He's good.
But I knew you were going to say that because I would stress out because he's just so hyper and ready to go. He's like a little mini Evan Singleton.
Yeah, he is. He is. That's a really good way of describing.
That's exactly what he's like.
He's like a little Tasmanian devil. We say, just like
he's so good though. But yeah, he's definitely getting better. You can see that. Because he's just kind of try and bring it down a little bit, and because he's so good. But
yeah, that's it. You've not really got to coach his talent in essence.
Yeah.
All that entails for Finlay is writing the numbers down because you know he can hit. You know he'll hit them. It's everything else sort of that entails that with lifting and competing that like I think is valuable for him.
Yeah.
On the coaching side, so that's again what I've learned over the years is coaching is not just about putting the numbers down and giving people cues. It's so much more that goes into it now, especially with the guys that compete at the higher level.
Oh yeah, it's mindset and it's all the mental stuff that comes with it, like the writing the numbers down and giving exercises and specific movements and the form checks. That's all the easy stuff.
Yeah.
It's like getting to know your client and what's upsetting them or what's triggered them that day, why they've not had a good session, and like knowing when there's something wrong. When they're like, "Oh, my session's not went right." Yeah, but what's wrong with you then?
That's exactly
like what's happened, and then them being able to open up to you.
That's it. And there's always a sort of a bad session is always got a reasoning for it. It's not normally the program. We keep saying this. An injury can be the program, whereas a bad session is not normally the program.
Yeah. But definitely not.
An injury kicking up in terms of that constantly keeps happening, should I say, or you got to look at the programming, like especially like tendonitis, which we seem to get a lot of in strongman. So knees and elbows, knees and elbows and biceps and shoulders. But that's generally you've got to look at the program, whereas a session by session thing is something.
Yeah, you got to dig a little deeper.
Dig a little deeper. It's normally something externally from the gym that you can put a little pin in and just say, look, it's probably dealing with this.
Yeah, and I think it's good to do that because I think a lot of people, especially in strongman or any competitive sport, are really hard on themselves and they don't think that those outside factors are, having an effect on their training. They just think they're shit. I have one specific client and she's so competitive and she's so good. Like, she's just new. Jenna, so if she's listening, I'm talking about you, girl. She is so good. She's got so much talent. Like, she's going to do so well. She's come into the sport a little later, but she is going to be amazing. But when she has a bad day, she gets so annoyed and she analyses everything. I'm like, you've got kids, you've got a full-time job. I was like, you've just had this and this. I'm like, that's why it's bad. You're not bad. And she's like, okay. But like us as coaches need to remind them of that. Yeah,
and that's something that, especially with female clients, that I've had to learn. Not sort of on the fly. I've done a lot of reading around it, but it's something that can differ massively in female clients, knowing like cycles and stuff like that, and time of the month and when this is coming. So the amount of conversations I've had, and it's been like, well, I felt a bit this today. I'm like, right, I'm gonna have to say this, like a little bit uncomfortable, but when are you due on? Like, like, oh, okay.
Matt says that to me all the time.
Yeah. So he's just
Matt says that to me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I having a meltdown? And he's like, you're on your period. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, I'm like, that's what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
It's like we don't even know.
I know. It's crazy.
It happens every month, but we are always caught off guard.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's something again that you learn as you're going through, and it's sort of vital information that again you can have the best program in the world, but if you're not in tune with a client who's going through that, then
you're screwed.
You'll write a number and then you'll look at it and go, well, why have you not hit that today? And if you don't ask the questions, you'll never know.
Yeah, so speaking about mindset, you seem pretty, chilled, relaxed. Have you ever struggled with your mindset or mental health or anything? This, obviously, Tinny Talk is big on mental health. Have you ever been through a time where you've struggled?
Yeah. Last year was the first time ever. And it really really, really did struggle pretty much throughout the whole year. I had a bit of a like spiraling year, should we say? So,
Okay.
for those that don't know, I've been injured for quite a while, like about 5 years now. I've been battling this ongoing injury, and last year it just really got worse and worse and worse. And I'd set last year as a bit of a target. I really wanted to get back into competing. I wanted to get back into serious competing. So England's, Britain's, Europe's, OSG Worlds. Because I competed twice in 2022 at Clash in Denver and then OSG Worlds. And I thought I was doing well there in terms of my ability, but I had a shit OSG, to be honest. And I was really annoyed. So I was like, right, I really want to make a statement. And then this injury cropped up again in my hips and glute. And I was like, God's sake. And then, I was struggling with training at that point anyway. Then, like, my fiancée, Mel, she's a show jumper, and she came off at a show quite badly. It was really traumatic, more for me than her, because she was knocked out cold, basically. And then she had a seizure off the back of that, and a bleed on the brain. So she didn't know anything of this. She was just out cold on the floor, whereas I've run over and she's fucking fitting and all this. Because I was at the show, I was the only one at the show with her. Like, obviously, full show, first aid, everything they were absolutely amazing. But it's not the sort of thing you want to see, to be honest with you. If you're like, if you're feeling there. This was in Wales as well at the time, so she was competing over in Wales. So we were off to a strange hospital, and then I was back and forth looking after her horses that were still at the show, and life was just like a 1,000,000%. Didn't know what was gonna sort of come of that. Luckily, she was absolutely fine, but obviously with this small bleed on the brain, but they just heal apparently. The bleed stops and you're all right. In her case, which was great. But then when we got home, I had to get her to rush her to hospital again in like the middle of the night at one point because she was having spasms in her neck. She had whiplash at the same time, so it was all awful. And seeing her in that distressed state was absolutely awful. So then she got sad, she wasn't able to drive. She was getting better then at this point. After the hospital visit, that stress was high. But then she wasn't able to drive for 6 months because of the seizure, or 9 months. And honestly, I never thought it'd matter that much, but this can sound really horrible, and I know she's only upstairs, but when someone depends on you that much to get around life, because she had to be at her horses every day still. She wasn't allowed to ride for 6 weeks, but she had to be at her horses every day to look after them, the living animals. You can't just abandon them. And she's got 10 of them. So I had to be driving her here, there, and everywhere, and it took its toll on me mentally and physically because I couldn't. It was every single second of my day had to be meticulously planned, and I'm not that good at that still. I like waking up off a day and going, today I'm going to train at 1. I've not got a set training time either because I have all my kit in my own place, and I can come and go as I please. So it was that got to me in terms of this, and then obviously the whole stress of the situation. I was trying to go in the gym and hit numbers. My body wasn't working as I wanted to do. I was missing numbers all the time. I was falling behind in my head. I was falling behind as a competitor, and I was getting more and more stressed, more and more pissed off, more and more everything. And then it really boiled up and boiled over, and I just basically I didn't train for 4 weeks leading into Britain's. I just couldn't do it. And then I managed to get back, and I competed at Brits and OSG Europe. So I did okay. OSG Europe, so I was resolute in the fact that I was I'll just make it. I'll do the events I can do. The ones I can't do, I'll give it a go. But so I had to change my mindset at that point when it was I'm going to win everything. At the beginning of the year, it was right, I can't win now. I'm just going to have to compete. And I was doing all right, and then about a few weeks after Europe's, my dad died. I was like, oh my God. This year. Oh, and in between that, my mum had a hip replacement as well. So I was this year is just like absolutely battering me. So yeah, I went and had a good chat with Curtis, the strongman psychologist who works for MST as well, and just basically unloaded on him, and he helped me out with a load of stuff, like mentally, basically.
Yeah.
To get me through and get me back training, get me sort of in the space of you can't do like I can't train strongman still at the moment. I'm going through the process with the NHS. I'm at the MRI stage now, so I've had loads of consultant appointments, got an MRI, and all this. So they're getting to the root cause of it, which is great. But he just was like, right, you're just gonna have to knock this on the head. Be a coach, train as you can, train for enjoyment and like physical fitness, whatever. And he gave me loads of like meditation stuff to like help just declutter my mind of everything that was going on. And then with Mel getting better and Mum getting better and all that, it's sort of just really smoothed out, and I feel I'm probably in the best headspace I've been in for like 18 months now.
Amazing.
Content with everything. But yeah, really had a struggle last year, but talking, I know it's the most stereotypical thing that anyone can say, because I don't talk.
It's true though.
I don't talk, and I don't talk about how I'm feeling ever to anyone. And that is the wrong thing to do. just bottled it. I just bottled it and bottled it and bottled it.
Yeah, I feel like you would be like that. That's why I wanted to ask, because you know, strongman people look up to you. Was it hard for you to reach out to Curtis? Did it take a while? Like, did you struggle to kind of accept that you needed to do that?
Absolutely.
How did you get past that fear then? For anyone that's watching thinking that they're struggling but they just don't want to talk, how did you make that decision?
It got to October, and Tom Hibbert was my coach then, Winning Health. He was coaching me. It was great. Like, I loved Tom. Everything we did with Tom was fantastic. But I was basically every bit of feedback I was giving him was like, mate, I'm struggling. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And he was like, speak to Curtis. You need to speak to someone. Get Curtis's thoughts on it and how he'd approach it and what he'd do. So it was Tom, thankfully, that just said, look, you're not well, basically. You need
to go.
You need to talk to someone, even if it's someone, like he said, even if you don't want to talk to Curtis can point you in the right direction as someone to talk to. Because you need, Curtis is a friend of mine and we've worked together for 5 years or whatever. And he was just even if you don't want to talk to him, you don't have to tell him anything, but he can point you in the right direction as someone that will help. So
it's so important to speak to people. Like you said, it doesn't have to be somebody that you know. It can be anybody. But I think, especially for men, like I really do feel for you men, because there's so much pressure to be the man, and like men shouldn't talk about their feelings. And I know it's getting better now, where it is, you know, men are being more open, but it's still that stigma around it that, you know, you should be a man and you're responsible for being the strong one in the relationship with the family. Yeah. So I think, you know, that's going to help a lot of people hearing that, you know, you did bottle up and you still struggle, but you have, you know, you looked for help.
Yeah, I think that was it as well at the time, because I was like, with Mel, I was helped. Like, it was just me helping her with everything. I was doing everything, and then, like, when my mum had a hip operation, I was like up there and I was helping Mum, making sure she was okay. And then when my dad died, I sorted everything out there with the family funerals and all that. And it was just like bang, 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 everything on me. And I was like, and then my training, I was like putting so much pressure on myself with that as well. It was again me. Like, I was like, Jesus, when does someone come to me and go, like, right, we're doing this for you? And they probably were. They probably were. Do you know what I mean? They probably were there. There was probably people coming and offering help to me all the time, but I just was struggling to see it, because I was like, oh my God, it's just me. And I was just, building and building and building. Oh, I've gone off screen, sorry. Building up and building up and building up, and then, just let it rip. But it was just the talking, and then, I think I only spoke to someone, I think I had 2 hours. And then the stuff that they gave me to do just basic meditation stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, it's maybe something that a few years ago I'd have probably laughed at as well.
Oh, yeah, I do stuff all the
do you
time
know
now.
what I
I'm
mean?
like,
For like
would have never done that before.
exactly, and that's not me. That's me just being pretty honest. Like, and I just laughed at it probably.
Yeah, meditation. I would have been like, meditation? Are you joking?
Exactly. And I was so bad at it for like
So was I.
a month.
Yeah.
So bad at it. Like Curtis, it was one of his techniques that he gave me. It's called leaves on a stream. And you've got to imagine yourself, you put yourself in this position where you're just floating on a lake or a stream. And then every time a lily pad, so every time you have a thought, because you want to clear your mind, you put it on a lily pad and let it float away. And you do this for like 5 minutes. And Curtis said, probably at the start you're going to have a million, and I did. I had a million lily pads just floating about with loads of stuff on it. But after like 4 weeks, there was like every 5 minutes I did, there was like 2 just floating, and I could get into that state where my mind was just clear, and it was crazy, like honestly crazy. But just for, and it like that again, I'd have probably gone, oh, that's hippy drippy stuff. Like, I don't never
Oh,
get into that,
definitely. I'd be like, there's no way I can meditate. My brain is far too busy.
But,
Now I can.
Yeah,
Took ages though. It took me like 3 months.
Yeah,
I think
does. It takes a long time. It takes I think like I say, it took me a month of doing it, but I'd just try and sit down and do it as often as I could, just to clear my mind out, and it was great. Really good.
Well, I think you should be very proud of yourself, because it is difficult to take up. See, you feel awkward. I always make people feel awkward. Oh, what was that? Look at that! Oh, fireworks for Flash.
I don't get fireworks.
Oh, well, I think you should, because it's not easy to have everything, like, taking on all that responsibility, but you got it done, and a lot of people would have been like, it's too much for me, fuck this, I'm off, and went and done something stupid, but you didn't. You went and got help, and you got your shit together, so you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
On that. But I have got a question before we finish. My son actually asked me tonight, he said, who are you going on your podcast with? And I said,
sorry.
Oh my gosh, hello little friend. Where have you been this whole podcast?
She's been dying. She's been
what's her name?
Fergie. She's been trying to chase birds in the garden, haven't you?
Are you getting birdies? Oh, you're so cute. I should have got my 4 in the podcast. One, like, just everywhere. Yeah, so he asked me who I was going on a podcast with, and I said Flash, and he thinks you're cool as fuck. Like, I showed your videos sometimes, and he's just like, he's so cool. Why is he called Flash? That's so cool. So he wanted me to ask you a question, so I said I'd finish it. Wow. So he said, what was the first weight you ever lifted, and what lift was it? Now, it's probably a long time ago. If I was like, I don't know if he's going to know that answer, but what was the first weight you ever lifted, and what movement was it?
First weight will have been at VVV Gym in Morecambe, which is across the road from Tyson Fury's house.
I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down so I can tell him.
And I will have done Smith machine bench press.
Oh, I can't believe you remember. That's so cute.
Well, I remember this because I joined that gym when I was 15 because I wanted to have muscles, and I thought to get muscles, what you did was bench press and bicep curls. So I think for about 6 months, I went into the gym 4 times a week and did bench press and bicep curls, and that was it. Every day. That was it. That was all I did.
I love it.
I wanted chest and arms. That was all I ever did.
That's so. Oh, I'm gonna tell him.
That's how I remember. But it's specifically Smith machine because they didn't have any benches just with barbells. They just had Smith machines.
Just a Smith machine.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, I love it. Well, actually, I've got one more question.
Go on.
I asked this quite a lot. I just remembered. I seen it in my notepad. But I like that answer, so I'm going to tell him that it was a Smith machine bench press. You train chest and biceps every day.
Chest and biceps every day.
That's what the kids do in my gym. They come in like this. I'm like, boys, you need to train your legs.
Yeah, legs. And if they want arms, it's triceps. Your arms too.
Yeah, exactly. Tricep. I did biceps for like 6 months straight every day. It worked. So I've got big biceps, but now they're fucking sore all the time.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
That's fine. But yeah, my question for you to finish off what does success look like to you? Because you're competitive and you're a good coach.
As a competitor, so I'm going to split this into, as a competitor, trophies. That's what success looks like to me as a competitor. As a coach, I would say happy clients. Clients getting exactly what they want. I'm not bothered if a client wins, loses, draws, whatever, as long as they get what they want. So that's all. A happy client as a coach.
Happy coach.
But that's success.
Yeah.
Every client will measure success in a different way to them.
Yeah.
It might be they've come to us to get over an injury. So if they get over their injury and they're happy days, that's a happy client. That's success to me. That's tick.
Yeah.
They might come to me because they want to get on the podium at OSG. Get them on the podium at OSG, tick. Absolutely fine. Might come to me to get in the top 10 at OSG. Get them into the top 10 at OSG. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. So, yeah, just as long as they're happy, that's success to me.
Amazing. Love it. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Tinny. I feel like I know you better now, which is good.
Good.
Happy. You've got the Tinny. You showed up for us. So thanks again for listening, guys. You know what to do if you like this episode. Then make sure you comment below. Flash, where can they find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram at flashdan87.
There you go. Go and give him a little follow. He's got some great training tips, and I like your stories as well. Like the stories, like your training stories. And we'll follow your journey on your road to recovery and back to competing.
Yes, definitely do that.
So we want to see that. I vote, let's see more of that, please, Flash.
Yeah, we'll come in.
But
don't worry.
Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Happy Tinny Talk! Woo!